Hey, what's up guys, my name's Runefire, and today we're going to be doing another RPG Maker MV tutorial. This is going to be the start of a month we're going to call 3 Houses MV. Well, at least for the tutorials, everything else on my channel is still going to go normal. 3 Houses MV is going to consist of a tutorial revolving around Fire Emblem 3 Houses in some way, shape, or form. This time, we're going to be recreating some 3 Houses skills. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, so today we are going to start on the Aura skills, which are pretty much the easiest of the bunch. So we have Professor's Guidance, Sacred Power, and Heartseeker. Professor's Guidance is Byleth's personal skill, also known as the Avatar. All allies gain 20% experience. In the actual game, it would be adjacent allies gain 20% experience, but here, to translate to RPG Maker, it would be all allies. So to make this incredibly easy state, we need to make our base, as for all the PassiveAuras skills, which will be marked with a sword icon, and we need to target all alive allies with state 45, which is our target state, which will, as expected, get 20% experience. Now our next one is Sacred Power. Sacred Power is Rhea's and the Enlightened one's mastery skill. It increases the damage output of adjacent allies and reduces their damage in the actual game. In this, however, we're going to increase their attack and magic attack by 10%, and they'll take 10% less damage. So we'll basically do the same thing, marked with this state here, or with this icon here, increase the attack and magic attack by 10%, and use a special parameter, physical damage and magical damage, and reduce it by 10%, so they take 10% less damage. Now our final one's Heartseeker, which is probably going to be the most useful out of these. Dark Mages and Dark Bishops have this particular skill. All enemies get minus 20% void, and as expected, in the game, only adjacent enemies get minus 20% void. However, instead of alive allies, we're going to target alive foes with state 49, Heartseeker, evasion rate minus 20%. So we're going to demonstrate, or not demonstrate, these 3 skills. So there's nothing to demonstrate because they're not actual usable skills, and they don't really have a very visible in-battle effect. Professor's Guidance is the one that gives 20% EXP, so at the end of this, everyone should get 20% more XP. However, I didn't show you the EXP of the monster, so I can't really demonstrate that, but you might take my word for that one. This one, all allies gain 10% attack and 10% magic attack, take less than 10% and take minus 10% damage. But again, I can't really demonstrate that unless I had a battle before. Heartseeker is probably the one that we can demonstrate the most, in that there's a state above the enemy's head, and that's all I can really show. Although, if you were paying attention to the icons, you'll see that the icons have dispersed amongst Herald, Therese, and Runefire themselves. Runefire also having the auras, because he's the one with the skills. That's pretty much all I can pretty much show for this instance. Alright, so now we're going to talk about some HP reliant skills. The first one is Persecution Complex from Bernadetta. At less than 100% HP, gain plus 10% attack. In the game, she would gain plus 5 attack, which is pretty good in that game actually. So we're just gonna go to our Persecution Complex state, and using the plugin AutoPassiveStates, we'll simply put the passive condition HP below 100%. So even if she takes 1 damage, she'll have this, or rather, the actor will have this state applied, and we'll simply have attack set to 110%. Now our next one is Defiant ATK. While it's not someone's personal skill, we're just going to recreate it anyway for the sake of simplicity or convenience. Defiant ATK at less than 25% HP gain plus 50% attack. We basically do the same thing, except HP below 25% and attack is multiplied by 150%. The last one's a little bit more complicated because you have to do a little bit of scripting. Confidence is Ferdinand von Eyer's personal skill. At 100% HP, gain plus 20% hit and avoid. It's actually pretty good if you could translate to RPG Maker. So what we have here is a script that I programmed, or I tried to create myself. If user's HP minus user max HP, so say you had 99 HP out of 100, 99 minus 100 is -1, and since it's less than 0, this wouldn't take effect. However, if you had a full 100 HP out of 100, subtracting that will get 0. So this will cause it to take effect. So this is what the script is basically telling. Condition equals true, otherwise condition equals false. And we're just gonna put hit rate plus 20% and evasion rate plus 20%. So this one should be a lot easier to demonstrate because you can actually see the changes to the states in Runefire's box there. So currently, we have all these 3 skills. However, the only one that's activated right now is Confidence, which at 100% HP gain 20% hit and avoid. As you can see there's a confidence icon of the same, well, icon. Runefire's status box there. So I have certain events set up. After the first turn, I will lose 1 HP, which will let me, I'll show you after. And after the second turn, I'll be losing 1000 HP. We'll see what happens from there. So we're gonna use Bash. 400, okay, that wasn't supposed to be a crit, but we lost 1 HP. And now we lost confidence. Yeah, I know, right? And we gained Persecution Complex, so now we have plus 10% attack, while not gaining the plus 20% hit and avoid bonuses that confidence gave. So we're gonna Bash one more time. We just lost 1000 HP. We still have Persecution Complex because we're still below 100% HP, but now we have Defiant ATK, which will give us another 50% attack. So if we attack now, well, we're gonna do a lot of damage. So yeah, that's basically it. And now we will go over one of our complicated skills. Bladebreaker, which is Jeralt's personal skill. After combat, applies attack and defense debuff. Now we're gonna make this into its own state and not just a skill, so we'll be using passive state for 36. Here is our state, and we're gonna be using this complicated script here. If this attack is physical, and the target result, .HP, and the target takes damage that's greater than 0. I guess that one doesn't really matter, but if the target is alive, apply the attack debuff as well, or rather, the attack, the number that correlates with the attack stat for 2 turns, and target add debuff parameter then turns. And we're gonna add a defense debuff because 3 is the number for the defense stat. Apply 2 turns, and do the same thing. And that's basically it for this establish effect. So I brought along 2 Fenrirs so I can demonstrate that Bladebreaker can actually proc on skills as well. So I think we should go over one thing. I'm using Soul from the Fire Emblem Skills video, the 3rd tutorial. I changed it to a physical attack for the sake of this very tutorial, so I think that should be taken into consideration. Alright, so just a reminder, after combat, it should apply an attack and defense debuff. So we're gonna use Bash on this first Fenrir, and there's the attack and defense debuff. Now we're gonna use Soul on the second Fenrir. And look at that, another attack defense debuff. So yeah, that's basically it. Alright, the final difficult skill we're going to be talking about today is Survival Instinct, which is Shamir's personal skill. Upon killing an enemy, gain an attack, magic attack, and agility buff. In the actual game, you would also get a dexterity buff, but dexterity is just hit accuracy, and you could make a state that has all of these applied. That's up to preference though. So this is going to correlate to state 34. Now, I just want to say right here, this script is based off of critical hit effects, just like Bladebreaker, as well as Disintegrate script. So this will also be a custom established effect if target HP is less than or equal to 0. Apply an attack buff. This number again correlates to the attack stat. Then add buff to the user. Magic attack buff 4 correlates to the magic stat. Add a buff to the user. And an agility buff 6 correlates to the agility stat, and add the buff to the user. It's time for our final demonstration with Survival Instinct. Survival Instinct is a skill, as a reminder, upon killing an enemy, gain an attack, magic attack, and agility buff. We're also going to be using souls so we can demonstrate that skills also work with this script. Now these slimes only have 1 HP, so it should be fairly easy to take out. You should take note of the status box in the bottom. Upon killing this slime, we have gained an attack, a magic attack, and an agility buff, as expected. Now let's use Soul on this slime. We killed it and our state has reset because that is why I set my plugin parameters to. And that's gonna be it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is the first episode of 3 Houses MV, and since I'm recording this just before I'm uploading this, I apologize that this wasn't uploaded on Friday as promised. However, there will be another one this Friday. This one, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna slack on it because this next one is gonna be a lot easier. So yes, if you enjoyed this video or this has helped you a bit, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help out a lot. And I don't say that enough. So, see you guys, and stay safe.